Jay, like, why'd you punch me in the butt, like, while I was, like, doing that? Like, it's already hard enough without you, you know what I mean, hitting me there. So, like, I finally got it up, and I racked it, and I was like, Jay, man, like, come on, what was that? And you guys were both looking at me like I was crazy. And I was like...
Because we heard the noise, it was like a snap, and we're like...
Right, and I was trying to figure it out. I was like, you're telling me, like, Jay, like, quit playing with me. Like, you definitely did something while I was sitting back in that squat. And he was like,
Jay
dude...
had the most confused look on his face.
He was like, dude, I literally wasn't anywhere near you. Come to find out what it was that my pants ripped.
Alright, so this is my best friend Wesley.
What's going on?
We've been friends since beginning of high school and pretty much just like grew up together and stuff, but...
Same birthday, we were born on the same day.
Yes, we both are born July 29th, 1999, so we're technically twins from different moms. But, yeah, so I know it's like probably almost 2 a.m. for us right now, but we were just having some really deep conversations, and we were just thinking, you know, we should maybe do like a little podcast, just like record what we're talking about. We thought it'd be really interesting, so we're just going to start talking, and I don't know. We'll see where it takes us. We've already talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we have. We've covered a lot of ground.
We literally talked for like probably 3 hours before starting this. So we've talked about so much already. But so yeah, you can start us off, Wes.
Okay. Shoot. I don't know.
So maybe let's start like this. What's just talk about like a brief overview about some maybe what's been going on in your life recently.
Okay. Well, as you can see, I'm a trainer. Is this?
Yeah, it's still going.
Okay, still going. Okay. Well, as you can see, I'm a trainer at Crunch Fitness, and so I've been I've been there for about a year, so I've been putting a lot of time into that. And that's going very, very well. I feel good about my clients. I've been picking up clients pretty consistently for a while, and yeah, I mean it's great doing what I love every single day, and being around a lot of great people who are also very motivated to help people get to their goals and everything like that. I have a lot of great people to learn from, my supervisor, Brock, specifically, has been great. Abby was, who was my supervisor, who kind of brought me in, took me under her wing. She was great. So yeah, I mean, I just really genuinely just enjoy it and love the people that I work with. And then also, my clients are all great. So, so yeah, I mean, I've really just been putting a lot of time into that. I'm trying to, I guess, get into a, rhythm of, not only just doing stuff, being at the gym, but also like, having a personal life, because I feel like for, the longest time I've been really just putting a lot of work into the gym. But, when I'm not at the gym, I'm kind of just like a homebody. So I'm kind of like trying to like, go and do things and try new things on the weekends and stuff like that. I might go axe throwing.
Oh, that's fun.
I haven't done that before.
Really?
Yeah. So, so I might go do that this weekend.
So I have a question. What would you say is like some of the biggest challenges as a personal trainer that you face? Like it could be like with clients, like maybe them not showing up, or like what it could be like whatever it is.
I think probably like the biggest challenge, like as a trainer, is yeah, I mean, definitely, like, not necessarily with people not showing up for the sessions. That's not as big of a deal, but it's, trying to instill, because a lot of your clientele, I mean, at least for me, are going to be people who have always had trouble with accountability, have always had trouble with consistency, don't feel like they belong in a gym setting, or don't feel comfortable in a gym setting. So a lot of what it is, to apart from just knowing how to work out and like working out clients, but is also helping them see the true value of like health and fitness, which surprisingly, while me and you, who you being an athlete, and then me always have been having been passionate about health and fitness, from our mentor Josiah, who instilled that in us. and I was just genuinely loving to do it. A lot of people don't genuinely like or definitely not love to work out. It is a chore for them to do that. And, so I think the biggest challenge is just trying to kind of find that, that happy medium of one, like, establishing that discipline so that, they're, maintaining that consistency, but also finding, and holding them accountable and like kind of being hard on them so that they can see the value in what they're doing, and also, strive for, a little bit of a higher standard for what they're either able to do in the gym or like, consistency with nutrition, but then also, trying to find things that they like to do, activities that they don't maybe have to think about, you know what I mean? Like, not activities, but, exercises that they enjoy doing, whether that's like strength training, high interval, training, boxing, kickboxing, all that different stuff. Mm-hmm. Just trying to find something that they can do that they, will want to stay consistent at, so yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, the biggest challenge. And it gets frustrating because sometimes I feel like, people have this idea that like they'll do, 2, times a week with me and they'll be, right as rain. But the fact of the matter is that you have to stay consistent and you have to get your body into a routine. And if you're only touching base with me 2 times a week for 30 minutes, which is just an hour a week, you're not going to see, the results that you want. Or even if you meet with me 2 times a week for an hour, if you're really trying to build, some serious strength or muscle or like lose weight, you're going to need to be in there, consistently, and you're going to have to up that consistency as your body starts to, adapt and change to what you're doing, to put the proper stress on the body, and confuse it. So yeah, so that was a pretty long answer, but yeah, that like, I think just consistency and keeping clients consistent is the hardest part. Yeah.
So I know you mentioned about discipline. So like, what would you say? So 2 questions. What would you say is your definition of discipline, and how can you continue to build discipline? Like, or let's say if there's someone who's completely not disciplined at all, how can they start to establish that discipline?
I think discipline is doing what it takes for whatever you're trying to, strive to be, even when you don't want to do it. I think that's what discipline is, because, I think that everybody, even people who love to work out, have days where, man, I really don't want to work out. Man, I really don't want to eat, healthy, the proper nutrition and everything like that. You want to just eat pizza and like lay around and not do anything. I think that discipline is being able to, combat those thoughts and be like, no, it's not time for that. We're gonna hit the gym. We're gonna, eat, the proper amount of protein. We're gonna be watching, our, sodium and all that stuff.
So it's pretty much, so you're saying like pretty much discipline is like being able to make yourself do something that you need to be doing even when you don't feel like it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think that discipline is, doing, doing what it takes even when, it's not easy to do so. Because I think that sometimes, for certain people, it's like, oh, like Josiah used to say it all the time, sometimes the best days to get a workout in are when you don't feel like working out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just your body just needs recovery, and that's why you feel like, I don't want to work out because you're sore and you're tired and you've already been going long enough and you really could have, definitely afford to take a rest day. But then sometimes it's just because you're lacking that motivation, and sometimes those are the best times to train, because if we always, because that'd be like, oh, I'm only gonna go to work when I feel like going to work. When I feel like if you did that, you would never make like any money to like pay bills and everything like that. So it's kind of a similar thing with health and fitness. It's like you have to maintain it. Like it's not, you have to maintain it, and you have to and if you have like some serious goals, you have to keep upping it and keep yourself on your toes and challenging yourself. So So that's why I think that discipline is and why that's so important. In terms of in terms of like how you build discipline, I think that it starts with really just having a real conversation about what the benefit of personal training or like of health and fitness is. Because while you would think for a lot of people you wouldn't have to sit there and look across from them and say, hey, this is literally like your life that we're talking about, you'd be surprised how many people I have to explain that to. You hear a lot of things about like well, I would totally like to train with you, but I don't want to, I don't have any like, built up disposable income, so I'm not gonna, I don't want to spend money on that. And one thing that I always say to combat that is like, you should not be looking at your health and wellness as disposable income. That should be something that you're spending money on on a day-to-day basis. I've also seen, trainers challenge. It's like, okay, well, how much do you like? Do you like to go out? Like, do you like to drink and like go out and hit your favorite restaurant every weekend, every couple of weeks? Like, okay, if the answer is yes, how much money are you spending approximately each weekend when you go and do that? Okay, like so if you're getting up in there, like $120 dollars, that's roughly what you would be spending within a 2-week time frame,
right,
to cover 2 weeks of training with me anyway. Like, don't you think that would be money better spent here than going out and putting all that poison in your body all the time? So it's just stuff like that, and I think that it could be frustrating because that's not always the most fun thing for a lot of people to hear, but it's just kind of part of the job. People have to kind of feel, you kind of have to get into the nitty gritty, I think, sometimes with people in order to help them understand why they could benefit. Or you might hear another excuse that I hear all the time is like, well, my friend that I went to high school with trains with me, and they've been weightlifting for a while, so I think I'm good. But it's like, is your friend your friend is also coming in there to work out as well? Are they watching what you're doing? Are they making sure that you're doing it with good form? Are they challenging you? Are they helping you with nutrition and keeping you on top of that? Are they is their program right for you? Because that's another thing, not everybody needs to be on the same program. If you're trying to if your friend is trying to lose a bunch of weight, and you're trying to build a lot of muscle, you guys might not be needing to do the same thing. Right. So it's just that's kind of a part of it too. And also it's I try to explain to people, it's like, you're only going to be meeting with me once or twice a week, so it's it's not like you're not going to ever get to hang out and work out with your friends again. But yeah,
what you were saying before about when you're explaining the health benefits, about would you rather go you're spending all this money putting poison in your body versus helping your body grow and stuff. I saw this picture that was really interesting. It was suffering. Would you rather suffer or suffer, or something like that? And on one of the suffers, it showed a guy who was lifting weights, doing curls and stuff, and then
right.
on the other picture, it showed some guy just being a couch potato, eating chips, and had
right.
a beer or something in his hand. And I was thinking, man, that's a really good point, because regardless of which path you choose, you're still going to be suffering, but just one is a lot more rewarding than the other one.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because that guy curling while he's suffering and he's putting his body under stress, he will be rewarded for that, as long as he's taking the proper steps, while the other guy is going to put on weight and could have and just to be clear, I'm not saying that if you do from time to time, if you do want to eat pizza and all that, because it's not like I don't
yeah.
But just within moderation, you want to try to keep it consistent with your eating regimen. I tell my clients all the time, it's like, listen, if you want to have like a cheat meal or indulgence meal or whatever, like a treat, whatever, do that. Just make sure that it's in moderation, and make sure that you're kind of try to be regimented about when you do that. Like, don't I don't particularly care for the mindset of like, oh, it's just whenever I want to do it, because for some people you want to do it all the time. So it's just like, try to find, foods that you like that also are going to be better, alternatives for foods that you really like, you know what I mean? So, and there's a lot of, and eating healthy can be, I sound like a cliche. I was never this person, but eating healthy doesn't have to be, a chore. There's a lot of different, things you could do with it, to keep it interesting and fun, and, to taste good and all that different stuff. So,
yeah. So I know like at a gym, you're seeing pretty much like all different types of people, and especially being a trainer, you have probably clients that are like all different journeys and just probably completely different personalities. So like, what are some of the, I guess like people watching in a sense, what are some things that you've observed at the gym, like being a trainer, or maybe even just like at the gym, not working out, just like observing in people and stuff like that?
Like what kind of things? Like form things, like
no, just like character things in general, like that type of stuff.
I mean, you see a lot of different kinds of, behavior, at the gym. You see a lot of people who come there really more for the, for social reasons, like
to put a post on Instagram saying at the gym, but then they just leave right.
Not necessarily because of that, but like I can think of a couple people at the top of my head that they come in, they kind of work out and everything like that. It's not like they don't work out, but you could tell that they're really more there to that's their social time. Like they talk to a lot of people at the gym, and they have fun doing that, which is fine. I mean, it's your membership, it's your money, you could do whatever you want, and if you are actually getting the lift in too, that's great. Maybe you're not pushing yourself as hard as you could because you're constantly like going and talking to people, but you're doing something, so I can respect it. More than just like, someone not coming in at all. And then you have people, and then you have people the opposite. They want to come in, they're in the zone, they're working out, they don't want to be talked to, they don't want to be bothered, have the music in, and they know they're going hard. Those are probably the people I respect the most, just because
they're committed.
They're committed, and and you could tell they have serious goals, and they're really, trying to push toward that. And then you kind of have people. You also have people who, are there once again for a social reason, but it's like, you have like the corny, gym dudes that are coming in there to just kind of like, like they treat it like it's supposed to be some kind of like hunting ground for like women, and just, those are what I call corny dudes, like in the gym, the corny gym bros. I don't like those guys. Like I can't stand it when, because obviously, me being a trainer, me being there all the time, I get to know, some of the women in there that are, that are training and are freaking, they're some badass, excuse me. There are some really like, hardworking, women in there who just are just trying to come in and do their thing. And I cannot stand when corny dudes, interrupt women. The biggest thing that I cannot stand is when a man comes in and tries to like teach or like give unwarranted advice about how to do certain lifts, because God forbid that a woman is doing weightlifting. Like, a guy will come in and be like, oh, well, you're doing this and this wrong. And it's just like, and they kind of like use that to like segue into like flirting or like putting their hands on people. And I can't stand that. I honestly can't. I have a lot of female friends in the gym that like we have an agreement that like if there's somebody bothering them, I'll just go and just stand by them, like and like until the dude goes away, because it's just
can I help you? And you're just like, no, and you stand there.
It's like, no, you can't help me and you can't help her, so Yeah, no, I can't stand, and so- which is with the women trainers too. Sometimes it's like if they're out doing stuff, or even if they're training clients, like you'll have guys like try to come up and hit on them while they're training a client. It's like, dude, like she's not here for that. She's literally working. Like, what are you doing? Like, I can't stand people like that, man. And it's just, it's just unacceptable, behavior personally. But anyway, just that rant done. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, you see all kinds of stuff, and then in terms of like form, you see a lot of interesting things there, and nobody's perfect, and everything like that. But you also see some very, very interesting workout routines that people are doing there. But also teach their own. And I'm really not an expert. So I'm learning every single day. That I'm there. So yeah.
So what is your like future goals, I guess, as far as personal training, or like, are you wanting to do this forever, or are you wanting to go eventually a different direction with it, or are you looking to build like a certain amount of clients, like for your end result? Like what does that look like for you?
I would really like to eventually, and we've talked about this before. I would really like to eventually like have my own like facility, like my own like gym, and train out of there, and so I could get even more personalized with clients eventually. I would love to, shoot. I mean, you and Josh, or you and Josiah could definitely go in on that with me. I think that would be great, because then you could kind of focus on, you would kind of focus on like certain athletes and stuff like that. I mean, all of us could, but I mean, like, you could work like, even if you want to, like, you could work a lot with like swimmers and different stuff like that. And then, we can like, all three run that gym, and then we obviously can have like, like Monica, if she wanted to be a part of it, could do a lot of the, could help, like, kind of like, she could be like the general manager. Because I don't know if I'd want to do that.
Yeah, you gotta just depends like what you feel like. I mean, because you're definitely a lot more well versed and passionate about the whole training side of things versus the business side of things. I know, just from
for sure. But I would definitely want to learn that stuff, so that I could, help navigate it. I wouldn't want it to just be like, oh, it's my gym or it's our gym, but we don't know how to like handle the business aspect of it at all. I wouldn't want to do that. I'm just saying that, like, if the passion is like the training, I would like to ideally focus primarily on like hiring trainers and training myself, like, training, my own clients, you having clients, bringing in, and bringing in revenue that way, and even if we just started out with like kind of like a garage gym, and we trained out of there, and then until we could kind of like build up clientele, and then move into like a bigger space once we could like afford that, that'd be dope. But like, something like that.
Nice. So one thing I learned from Kobe Bryant is he says sports is the greatest metaphor that we have for life, and as far as like, it teaches us lessons that we're eventually going to experience later on in life, or maybe we won't experience them later on in life because we've learned them and figured out how to manage them through our sport. And weightlifting, or like training, whatever it is that you do, any type of athletic endeavor that you're pursuing, whether it's just weightlifting or if it's like an actual like a sport, like for me, I do swimming, or anything like that. Like, it's teaching us lessons. So like, what are some of the biggest lessons that weightlifting and training has taught you?
Oh man, some of the biggest. That's a good question. Way to drop that one on me. You got like, you're asking like very like straightforward questions, like about just personal training and that business, and then you went into like this really like
deep question. I'm trying to get deep here.
I know, it's cool. I'm always down for it. I would say that I feel like I'm talking different. Like, I feel like, never mind. We'll cut it out. We'll change it. the biggest thing with weightlifting, I would say.
Like how has it developed your character over time? Like think about when you first started, like before you started training with Josiah, like because that was your first introduction to weightlifting, right? Was with Josiah pretty much?
I would say that's definitely where like I got serious about it because I really didn't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, that's definitely like I mean I would do like push-ups and like some stuff with like the little dumbbells that I had like in my room and everything like that, but I didn't really like know how to work out that much,
So think about like who you were as a person before you started training with Josiah, and then like once you got really serious about it, and like who did you become? Maybe that could probably help you answer the questions. Like who did you become, and like how did you change from when you first started? Not like physically, but like your character and.
I feel like the confidence was something that I did not have prior. Like not that I'm like 100% confident in everything that I do, but I definitely feel like Josiah taking me under his wing and showing me all those things and like me being like pushing me past like what I thought I could do and like not ever putting limitations, like that definitely builds a level of confidence that's very like powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And that you could take with you,
or those Friday sets. What were they called?
Oh, Kamikaze Fridays.
Kamikaze Fridays.
Like really just pushing. So what we would do on Kamikaze Fridays essentially is it would start with a 3-mile run, and we always were doing it in like the blistering heat.
Yeah.
I remember one time I think it was like 100 degrees,
yeah,
like
heat
index
in the middle of the afternoon,
right?
Rising sun in the sun,
and like so we would start with a 3-mile run. We would do that, and
limited
then we would
water.
What is it?
He would limit our water. Remember?
Yeah.
He's like, no, you're not allowed to drink more than this.
And then he also gave us that like electrolyte stuff that was nasty.
Disgusting.
It was disgusting. And so we would do the 3-mile run, and then once we would get back to the garage, he pretty much would just throw like every and any like workout that he could at us: deadlifts, pull-ups, tire flips. Tire, slams with the sledgehammer, just pretty much just everything, just breaking, like just to break us, and we were done when he said we were done, and it was, but I think like stuff like that, you know what I mean, like as like David Goggins would say, like taking souls, like I felt like, those experiences, not only were just great for like just physical results, but also just like mental toughening and everything like that. Because especially with Kamikaze Fridays, you never knew when it was gonna end. It might be an hour and a half of just blasting it out. It might be 2 hours. It might be 3. Like you just never would know with that stuff. So it was always really we always had a blast, even though we were dying. But I mean, like after that, I remember
fun for sure.
I remember like on those days just feeling immediately like as soon as we would get done, like almost like not immediately cooling down, but like the good feeling of like the there would like kind of like be like a breeze or whatever, and then like the sweat would cool very fast, and that was always like super relaxing after like just exerting so much like energy. But
bro, you remember those reps like on bench press and like you've already done, maybe let's say we're just like benching, and then we get to a point where it's like we're barely, like we can't really do a rep, and so Jay's helping us just like a tiny bit get it up, and then you're like trying to rack, he's like nope, and he won't let you rack, he's like one more, and then you're like okay, and then you do one more, he's helping you up, you're struggling even more, it's burning,
and you're about to put it up,
it's like one more, and then you're trying, and you're like literally on fire, and you're like and you're pushing as hard as you can, and he's not helping you, he's literally just like holding it there, and sometimes you might even be moving it up, but he's pulling it back down and pretending he's helping you. And so you're like pushing, and you're like not really getting it up, and finally he'll kind of like let you have it, and you're like, and you just feel so.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like he was always trying to take souls. Like that was like, he
play little games, but they help you get better.
For sure. I mean, I don't know about him ever resisting me pushing. That might have just been some stuff that he said for you. I don't ever remember.
I thought he was like, he would sometimes like he'd have like 2 fingers under it and like his thumb on top, and he'd pretend
Oh,
like
and
he's
like
lifting,
he would like yeah.
but he's actually like kind of like moving it down, like holding it so it's not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I would say like there was a certain like confidence
cried on
after
one of
doing.
those before.
You did cry on one of those. I remember that. I think it was actually the
It
first
was on
time.
bench press.
It was on bench press. I think it was actually the first time that you had worked out, like, or one of the first times that you had worked out
Was it?
with me and Josiah.
I thought it was like senior year, like after we've been doing it for a while. He just like pushed me so hard, and I was giving everything.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't
physically
know.
and mentally, and
Yeah.
bro, like I was just giving it like all, and just tears started coming out of my eyes because I just couldn't.
Yeah, man.
I had nothing left to give.
Yeah. No, yeah, no. I remember one of those Kamikaze Fridays. I'm getting off topic, but I'm gonna circle back.
Sure.
But like, I remember one of those Kamikaze Fridays the night before. You were fine, even though I think you ate the same thing. But like, I made the mistake for myself to have freaking like a Wendy's like, because that was back when like my eating was like when one thing had nothing to do with the other. Like I was not really eating properly. I was just lifting weights and just kind of eating whatever I wanted, which I was still getting results, but I definitely think I could have got better results if I was any. But like I had like a Baconator and like fries or something like that.
Yeah,
and the next day that next morning we ran that Kamikaze, and like at first we were like, me and you were like neck and neck, and then like after a while I just got gassed out so bad because my freaking stomach was just like trying to run off of that, like it was awful. That was the worst.
I remember you fell back at the end because you were not feeling good.
I was feeling terrible, and Josiah, like obviously didn't let me stop. So,
bro, I just thought of a funny story. Remember you're doing those squats, and then Jay was behind you, spotting you, and then you're like, "Oh, I felt that one, Jay." And then Jay looks at me like, he gives you that look like, what do you look
right,
at?
because like so okay, so let me provide context, okay? So we were like, okay, so it was a few that was a few summers into like the second summer that we were training with Josiah, right? And he had just gotten this brand new squat rack. And because he got the squat rack, he wanted to use that mug every single day. So we were literally squatting every day.
We did like 30 days straight.
Which I have to say though, like I mean, like that was a great way to like get me comfortable with squatting, because I hate back squatting. But I feel like I was way more comfortable with it then than I am now, because we were just doing. I was forced to just I was forced to be consistent with it and do it. But anyway, it was one of those freaking set workouts where it's pretty much just all squats, and we were doing like 10 plus rounds of squatting, and we were going up weight like each time, and we were getting to like some of those last sets, and I get like, I know that Jay was kind of like spotting me because my legs were starting to give out, and at one point I sink down in there and I just feel like a huge just like pow on my butt, and I really thought that Jay like was trying to like motivate or like do something, and he just like hit me like in the butt. That's what I thought. It felt like Jay punched me in my butt. And that's what I thought, and that's why I said, "Oh, I felt that one, Jay," because because sometimes he would do that. He would not on the butt, but like he would like hit me on the back, like, "Come on, you got it." And like so, I was like, "Man, like what the heck, like Jay, like why'd you punch me in the butt like while I was like doing that? Like it's already hard enough without you, you know what I mean, hitting me there." So like I finally got it up and I racked it, and I was like, "Jay, man, like come on, what was that?" And you guys were both looking at me like I was crazy, and I was like,
we heard the noise. It was like a snap, and we're like,
right. And I was trying to figure it out. I was like, you're telling me like Jay, like quit playing with me. Like you definitely did something while I was sitting back in that squat. And he was like,
Jay
dude,
had the most confused look on
he
his
was like,
face.
dude, I literally wasn't anywhere near you. Come to find out what it was that my pants ripped.
Was it your pants or underwear?
No, it was it was just the sweatpants that I was wearing. But it ripped with such an intensity that I literally thought that Jay punched me in my butt. Like that's
like the funniest story, I think. That's so funny.
No, there was definitely more, but but yeah, anyway, going back to like your question, because I know I didn't really like answer it. Yeah, no, I would say like confidence. I think that I don't know. Like, it's hard because like while I have learned a lot from like weightlifting and about consistency, about discipline, about input and output and all that different stuff. I think that a lot of the lessons that I've learned that really shaped me was a lot because of like Jay's training style and how he kind of used a lot of what we were doing almost as like a foundation to kind of build upon like deeper things, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like I felt like he kind of used weight training like something that we were interested and passionate about to also kind of like not trick us but like get us all there so he could talk to us, like really mentor, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't just like, all we sat around and talked about was fitness. We talked about all kinds of things, but I feel like he really used, weightlifting and fitness as kind of like a metaphor a lot of the time for, life, like real life situations and and certain issues that maybe we would like come across and everything like that. And I feel like that is one of the reasons why I think fitness is such a therapeutic thing for me, to work like I like working out is like a form of like therapy and like meditation for me. Like I don't really usually work out with like music when I'm at the gym because I just like to be just like in it and just kind of like be at peace with my thoughts and while I'm doing everything. And I really feel like I work through some stuff a lot of the time when I'm working out. And I think that's another thing that I really have taken away from like weightlifting and just working out in general was like being able to use it as a way of like releasing, opposed to it being just something that I do just because I want to like look good and everything like that. I definitely there's definitely like a therapeutic aspect of it.
I've noticed that, to be honest, like with myself, so I was in California. I'm sure probably a lot of you guys know, but I was in California for almost years, like 11 months, and for majority of that time, I didn't have access to a weight room until like pretty much 2 months before I came back. So I literally just came back. You'll be seeing a vlog like soon, like on Sunday, or probably you'll see a vlog before this comes out. But I only got back like a few days ago, but before in that time, like the time that I was before I started training, I kept feeling like something like wasn't quite right. Like there was something that was really solid was missing in my life that was kind of holding everything together, because I was struggling sometimes with some of my habits, kind of like going off and on with them. Like I was very consistent, but there was just still sometimes like where I feel like I didn't have that mental toughness that I used to have, that was like missing in some sense. And then when I got back in the weight room for the first time, I just knew right away. I was like, wow, like this is like what was missing. And instantly, like, because I was kind of in like a little bit of a rough patch right before I got back into the weight training. And so right when I got back in, like the first day right away, I was like, that was exactly what was missing. Like, and instantly I was like back on track with everything that I was pretty much like going downhill with. Right. Like it was that kind of like that missing link that I didn't realize had such an impact on me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it is like, it's just like, when I don't work out, when I'm like, obviously I have like rest days and stuff like that, but when I don't work out when I'm supposed to, I just feel bad.
Yeah.
Like there's something that it just messes with me mentally. Not just that like, oh, I'm not gonna look good or all that different stuff. It's also just a like,
you let your emotions get the best of you in a sense.
Or not even just that, but it's just kind of just like I feel, I mean, I just feel like I didn't like accomplish like what I wanted to like what I wanted to get accomplished that day. Like there's something about doing the workout that just makes me feel like I just get more done and everything. But
that just made me think of so Tim Grover. If you guys don't know, Tim Grover, he was the weightlifting coach of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Right now he's training Russell Wilson. He's trained like so many incredible athletes like in the weight room and stuff. And he came out with this new book called Winning, and one of his quotes in his new book is that when you control your thoughts, you control your emotions. Or wait, maybe I don't know. I might have these. It's either when you control your thoughts, you control your emotions, or when you control your emotions, you control your thoughts. And then when you control your either thoughts or emotions, whichever one, then you control your actions. And then when you control your actions, you control the outcome, or like you can control like your results basically. And so like, oh yeah, it goes okay. So it goes thoughts, emotion, action. That's what it is. Because like there's times like when you don't want to get out of bed, and it's not because like it's because of your emotions. Literally, it's like you have your emotions, like you're feeling tired, weak, whatever. It controls your thoughts, like, oh, like I'll make an excuse, like my excuse, like to make myself feel better about not getting out of bed and going to like my workout or practice, whatever it is. And then it controls your actions, and then you're obviously not going. So
yeah.
you look like you're about to fall asleep.
No, I'm good. No, definitely. I mean, it's I think I think just mentality is just a huge thing. I tell my clients that all the time. If you come in with with the mindset of like, man, I really don't want to do this. I hate this. You know what I mean? Like, do we have to do this? Do we have to do it this way? Blah, blah, blah. It's like you're already setting yourself up for failure because mentality is everything. When it comes to fit, I mean, really when it just comes to anything, you don't even have to like just keep it just exclusively to fitness. I mean, really just when you're doing anything, mentality is a huge part. If you have such a negative attitude, you're never gonna succeed in what you want to succeed in. You have to come in and be like, let's do this. I'm gonna crush this. I'm gonna give it my best. Yeah.
Even on those days that you feel like crap and don't want to come in, like even on those days, you don't have to necessarily, I feel like, have the attitude like let's crush this, but just the fact that
we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. And that's the whole discipline thing.
Right. Like, it's like, hey, body, I know you don't want to do this, but we're doing it today. Like,
bro, that was literally me today, actually.
Dude, I don't know if any of you guys do this, but I talk to myself. I talk to my muscles. Like, if I'm working biceps or whatever, and Lefty's wanting to give out,
flex,
I like,
command you to grow.
Exactly. Like, I'm letting, or if I'm working my legs or whatever, I'll have to let my legs know you ain't tired, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You're not tired.
Bro,
or sometimes I'll just look at myself in the mirror, dude. I just look at myself in the mirror and have a little heart-to-heart with myself. It's like, who are you even talking to right now? Mm-hmm. You are not tired. We got 3 more sets left. We got 3 more exercises. You better get to work.
Bro, those conversations, like, I've had some pretty intense conversations with myself, and not even just, like, even outside of the gym. And those, like, actually, this is something I learned from Tim Grover, too, is, like, the most important conversations that you have are the ones that you have with yourself. Those are, like, the most powerful, the most... the ones that will have the biggest impact on you.
Oh, for sure.
And stuff. And, like for example, when I first was moving to California, my housing canceled on me literally 2 days before I was supposed to fly out. So I thought I was about to be homeless. And so I didn't have anywhere to stay and everything. And literally right when that happened, at first, like, I was like, had like a little freak out moment. I was like, oh my gosh. But then instantly I snapped out of it and I went straight to the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror and said, okay, life, you're freaking testing me. Let's freaking go. Like, bro, and dude, I had this adrenaline rush. I felt so powerful. Like, I felt like, I honestly felt like I got great news. Like, it was like, like literally, it felt like the opposite of what should have happened. Like, I felt like I just received the best things in my life. Like, I was so fired up and ready to go because it was like a challenge. Like, that gets me freaking fired up if somebody or something challenges me.
Yeah. That's just because you're nuts. It's like, hey, just wanted to give you a heads up. You're gonna be homeless. Oh, I'm gonna be homeless. Let's freaking go. Let's go. It only makes me stronger, baby. Like, what are you talking about? Like, nah, man. Like, that whole we were talking about that earlier, man. And I'll say it again because I was super like proud of like the way that you handled it. Because dude, like I was like really just like in awe of it because it just kind of like came out of like you said you were gonna do it. And I had no doubt that you were gonna make it work, but it's just a way that it happened. Like there was nothing that anybody was gonna say to you. There was nothing that was gonna happen to keep you from going out there. And man, I'm telling you, dude, like it really was just inspiring to just kind of watch you do that, and you know, because when you had told me and Josh about it that night, like I was like half asleep. You know what I mean? As you know, this is kind of just like what we do. It's like a lot of like, you know, just up, you know, early morning, talks. Just having you know heart to hearts and stuff. But like, yeah, man, you know, when you told us, you know, I believed you. It wasn't like I was like, oh, he's not gonna do that. It was more just. It didn't really register, and so we were on the phone, and you're just like, yeah, you're like, yeah, dude, I'm going to California, bro. I was like, I leave tomorrow, and he's like, I don't even know where I'm staying yet, but it's just gonna, like, I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm just like, dude, could never do that, like, just the thought of like moving to another state just by myself is scary. Like that's, you know what I mean. I'll be the first to admit it. I mean, it's just
I mean, it was literally the scariest thing, like decision I ever made in my life. Like it honestly, like it scared the crap out of me thinking about it, and then like actually going through with it. Like I was really proud of myself, and this is actually kind of funny. Is right. So like after I found out about the news that my house like canceled on me pretty much 2 days before I was supposed to move there.
Right.
I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and I was telling her like, at first I didn't tell her about it because I knew she was gonna like worry and stuff. And I didn't want her to worry about it because I was like, my thing that I always tell myself and that I identify with myself is I always figure things out no matter what it is. Like in life, like whatever I go through, whether it has anything to do with money or like something I'm struggling with, whatever. Like I always figure it out. I always figure out a way to get it done. And like that's something I live by is just you just figure it out. And it actually has something. It's funny that I had always kind of like stuck with that because when I went to like my coach, he has this saying. He's like, if you like let's say if he says a set and you didn't really get it, he's like FIO, and it means like figure it out. And so that's like my biggest takeaway from California. It's still like is to just figure it out like that. Like with anything, whether it's life, swimming, sports, like whatever. But going back to my story is. So I thought I was actually going to be homeless for like a week or something, and so I was actually planning on like finding where the pool was and staying the night there and just like eating like fast food or whatever. Because you know, I mean, obviously like came prepared with like money saved up and stuff, so like I was going to be able to do it for a while. But I was so determined because like my goal is to be a national champion, and I was like, I don't care if I have to be homeless for a week. Like my coach is going to see how dedicated I am, and like something is going to come out of this, luckily I didn't have to be homeless for that.
And what happened with that situation? Like did like someone called you, right? Or
so eventually, that lady who canceled on me, she actually found one of her friends. I guess also ended up was looking for someone to fill up her room, and so
she got you in touch with them.
Yeah, so she got me in touch with them, and luckily, like literally the day before, like of whatever. I was able to finally get a hold of them and and move there and fly there and stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, but I think just that moment for you, just like mentally, like you, like regardless of whether or not that was going to happen, you were going to get out there.
Oh yeah.
And you were going to make it work somehow, and you were going to figure it out. And that's like that's awesome, dude. I couldn't have done that, man. I mean, just this situation, like here with like me, going through the transition of like, moving out of my house, and like trying to find a place to stay and everything like that due to, events and everything like that. That was just, kind of like there was a moment where like I had left, the friend's house that I was staying at, and I was like, man, I was like, I got like today is the day I gotta like really like figure this out. And I just remember just driving around. I didn't really have I took a personal day because I was trying to figure it out, and I was just driving around, and I was just like, I don't know where to go right now. I was like, I don't really technically have a home, so I don't know like where to go. And obviously I knew I was like welcome like here at grandma's and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it was just, I don't know, it was a weird feeling. Like I did not know like, it was, and I did come here and, grandma was gone and stuff like that. And it was just a weird feeling, like, and not trying to say like, you know what I mean? Like I was like legitimately homeless. Cause I mean, I had people that I could stay with and stuff like that, but it was just, that was scary by itself.
Oh yeah.
And I'm familiar with this area. This isn't a new environment for me. So I can't even imagine like how that was for you. The idea of like, hey, I might just be homeless in California for a hot sec. Like that was, yeah, man.
Yeah, it was scary. But bro, you know what's really interesting is like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but like, you know, whenever you get to that moment, like where it's like you have no choice, kind of like you just have to, like you literally have no choice but to figure it out.
Right.
I don't know, there's like something special about that moment, and I don't really know like how to describe it, but you just get this feel. Like, this is what I felt. I just got this like this incredible feeling, and it wasn't even like it was scary, but it was like so thrilling and exciting at the same time. Right. Because then it's just literally you and yourself, and you just really have to put that trust in yourself. Right. Like that's one of those moments where you literally have no choice but to truly trust in yourself and build that relationship with yourself.
Right.
I don't know. It's,
well,
it's like a really powerful moment.
Yeah, and I think that's really when you figure out like who you are in those moments where like your back's against the wall and you just kind of have to.
Where you have no choice.
Yeah, you have to do what you have to do. I mean, it's just kind of and I think that you handled the situation beautifully, and it clearly I could tell immediately. I can tell just by like our conversations like on the phone and everything like that, like how much you've grown like since being out there, like how independent you are, the wisdom, you know what I mean, like that, not that you weren't already those things, but I mean it's just kind of continued to like definitely evolve, you know what I mean, from that experience, which I had no doubt, because I mean like obviously that was going to be a very like life-changing
for sure
event, you know what I mean, in your life. So I mean, yeah, man, it's been very like inspiring, and I think that's like one of the things that like about like our friendship, me, you, Josh, Josiah, that's always been that I've always been very, very thankful for, is like no matter where you guys are at, having access to be able to watch what you guys are doing inspires me to continue to push where I'm at. And I think vice versa, like, all of us, having each other on social media, seeing each other push hard, seeing you push hard with your swimming, seeing Josh push hard with whatever Josh is doing.
Yeah, well, he was like, now he's
he was pushing hard with swimming. Like, I like, no disrespect, Josh. I just like, it changes every 5 seconds, brother. But like, but he's, seminary, or not seminary. He's doing youth. He's doing youth. Yeah. So that's, and you're going to be great at that. Like, and I think that I really do think that he's meant for that. Mm-hmm. But like, and then Josiah, like starting his, construction company, Blue Gorilla. Yeah. Hey, if you're out in Florida,
what part of Florida is he in?
Tallahassee, right?
Yeah, Tallahassee.
Yeah, if you're out in Tallahassee, Florida, and you need that hard work to get done, you call Blue Gorilla Construction.
We're not sponsored by them.
Why is that so hard to say?
Blue Gorilla Construction.
Yeah, why is that?
We're not sponsored by them, but Jay's our boy. He mentored us, and he's led us on a really strong path, set a great example for us. So definitely always want to shout him out and give back to him in any way that we can. For sure.
Yeah.
So for all the millions and millions of views this gets, hopefully
millions and millions
one person will hit Jay up.
Yeah, if you say, I get what you did there. If you said it, it's gonna happen.
Exactly. Well, let him know we sent you if you hit him up from us.
Yeah, but, that referral.
Yeah, you got a referral from me and Wesley. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that.
So, man, let me ask you this, man. Like, with the distance, right, with like you and Tam and everything like that, how do you feel like that has, shaped?
Okay.
I'm going to keep it real. Andrew messed this up.
I didn't mess anything up. We were recording. You can't even tell, actually, before. But, like, this is like a second...
Shoot, this could be, like, dude, like, this could just be it right here.
Second podcast coming up.
Yeah, that first one was just a warm-up, so we can get out all the crap that no one wants to hear, so we can talk about the stuff that people maybe want to hear if they want to hear that.
True. Yeah, he's about to ask... Well, you'll see in the video. Like, you probably just saw that. He's going to ask me a question about me and my girlfriend, Tam. But
yeah, now I don't remember what it is, though.
Yeah, he did something where
I didn't do anything.
He pounded the table and knocked
sensitive camera.
He knocked the camera over and the SD card out of place.
But Tam called.
Yeah, and then Tam
as well. And I think that was the first time that I've ever actually... Is that the first time I've actually spoken to her?
Maybe. I don't know. For some reason, I thought you and I thought you'd spoken to her maybe once when I came.
I can't remember.
Or
I'm sorry, Tam. It's nothing personal. It's just,
I don't know.
I definitely haven't spoken to her very many times.
Yeah,
and not for an extended amount of time.
No, definitely not. Because I'm pretty because we don't get to see each other too often anymore. Just because I'm always like in Kentucky or obviously California. I was at.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So how have me and Tam navigated, I think is what you said.
Yeah, like how have you guys like, I'm just curious, like, because I understand that, like, the distance obviously, has to be like hard at times and everything, but you guys seem like you navigate through it so well. And that communication has to be great. Like, how do you guys, like, with your busy schedules being on like different times and stuff like that, like how do you guys like help each other, navigate and like, and it seems like you guys genuinely are continuing to help each other grow and challenging each other, despite, not saying that you couldn't, people can't do that, but it's like, how do you guys do that? Like, what do you feel like you guys do really well together to like help, maintain and continue to, grow that, relationship and that bond?
Definitely. So, well, yeah, the first thing is like definitely because we were at 9 hours time difference for a couple months, and now being back here, it's down to 7, so we're a little bit closer, but still a pretty big time difference. And yeah, communication is like definitely the biggest part. I know it's like a pretty kind of cliche answer, but it's like communication is so important. And I don't like always know her schedule necessarily, but the biggest thing is that we always make time for each other, and like we always will let each other know like spontaneous, like not really spontaneously, I guess, just kind of like throughout the day, hey, I'll be free in like an hour or like at this time, and we sometimes like usually have an idea of like when each other's breaks are and that type of stuff. But so that's really helpful. Is just knowing when the other person is available, and then each like side being able to set aside time to talk to each other and have conversations, because we've also been through phases where it's like we'll set aside time to talk, but it's just we don't have much time and we don't really get to have serious conversations, which I mean, we can feel a difference. Like it might feel not like we're growing apart, but it's just kind of like we don't feel all there like we've been missing. Like we have so much stuff we want to talk about and we haven't been able to. So setting aside, I would say at least like once per week minimum, where you can just have some time to actually like talk about everything and get everything off your chest, how you've been feeling for the week and that type of stuff. But as far as how we've been able to continue challenging each other and helping each other grow. So first thing is we haven't really been good about this recently, but for a few months we had this goals worksheet that we created where
I think you were telling me about that.
Yeah, so we created this goals worksheet where it had like one of them, like for her, she's on a fitness journey, so it had like some of her fitness goals, like where she wanted to be at like weight wise and like how she wanted to look, like just like stuff that was specific to her, like her goals for her fitness stuff. For me, it was about my swimming, and then we both had like some financial goals, some relationship goals, like who we wanted to connect with this month, like who we wanted to talk to. Like I'd written you down, like I want to make sure I talk to you and Josiah and my Uncle Marcus like once or twice or however many times this month, and then other thing, and then like the last category was I think it was like habits that we want to develop or to continue working on. So like whether it's like cold showers, like reading 10 pages every day of a book or whatever it is. So that was like a cool way for a little bit. We were able to hold each other accountable. And we would try to have a call like maybe once every 2 weeks specifically just about that to make sure like we're on track. And then like each week we'd go on there and mark like where we're at. If we're on pace, we'd highlight it green. If we were behind, red, and then it just lets each other know like, all right, we need to get our crap together or keep up what we're doing. Or like if we're ahead of pace, like we're doing great, whatever. But so that was one good way. But then eventually we kind of fell off that just because her schedule got like super busy and we didn't have that time to, like her work is pretty spontaneous sometimes. So like sometimes I was just like super, super busy and so she literally this was like kind of the phase where we didn't have hardly any time to like talk about our days and stuff. So if we couldn't talk about a day, there was no way we were going to be able to talk about like this huge like pretty much like worksheet plan that we had together. So but another way that we challenge each other as we hold each other accountable. Like if like I call her out on her crap, she calls me out on my crap. Like if I'm acting like a little baby.
She does seem like she calls you out on your crap. I think that's great.
Like recently, especially, like I've been kind of acting like a baby, or like overthinking things, whatever it is. Like I mean, she'll be. So this is like the biggest thing. It's just being like super open and honest and like upfront.
Right.
Like even if like I used to be that guy where I wouldn't tell you the full truth or exactly how I was feeling because I didn't want I don't want to hurt their feelings, but. It's a lot better, I feel like, to tell them the truth and risk like temporarily hurting their feelings than hiding how you're feeling, suppressing those feelings and stuff. Because then you're just hurting yourself, and nothing is going to change if you don't let them know. So
right.
You let them, so with Tam, I've been telling her like if there's something that she does that I don't like or don't agree with or whatever it is. Like I'll call her out on her crap. She'll tell you the same thing that I'll call her out on her crap or put her in her place, and she'll put me in my place whenever. Like depending on what it is with me, like if I'm doing something, and
right.
I'm trying to think of an example.
Which like probably like 95% of the time it's you, but no, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say I'm trying to think of an example because
97.
I'm pretty much perfect, but no, no, I'm not even close. But yeah, those are probably like the biggest things. Is we. As far as challenging ourselves, like we call each other out on crap, and then also like whenever I have, for myself, like whenever I do like some reflecting, I've been listening to a lot of Mike Tyson, and I know I've been telling you about that, but right. There's been several times, and I know we've talked about this too, like where I had kind of like a breakthrough moment where I was just like, oh my gosh, I relate to that so much, and I learned something really like really powerful and new about myself I didn't realize before through right. Maybe like Mike Tyson, some of his experiences or something that he said. I'm like, wow, I can really relate to that, and I never thought about that before.
Right.
And so then when I have those moments, like I share them with her, and then so she can even learn more about me as well, because it's something new I learned about myself that now I get to share that with her, and now it's just only us two are the only people in the world who know that about me, right. or vice versa with her. So. And then that helps us to deal with like when we have issues that come up, because obviously we're not a perfect relationship, nobody right. is. We're always still learning about each other, there's always going to be things that come up here and there, and it's all about figuring out how to navigate those things. And it's a lot easier to do that when you know a lot about yourself and the other person, like how they are, like how their past is, like what they've been through, what their triggers are, and just kind of things like that. Like I've learned a lot about myself and things that, like whenever I get frustrated, I know like the things I start to do, how I start to act, like things that I do. Sometimes like I'll add fuel to the fire, or like try to do stuff to make myself feel more powerful, and which diminishes, kind of like makes the other person feel worse about themselves. So, and me and Tam, we've talked about this, so she already knows all this stuff about me too.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, just being really open and honest, and like not being afraid to share who you truly are, because if that person isn't gonna love you for who you truly are, and even though like some of the stuff that who you truly are, like your deep dark secrets and stuff, might seem like pretty messed up, like I'm sure that other person has just as many that are just messed up like you. Right. And so as long like if they can't accept those things in you, well, first off, they probably aren't even accepting it in themselves, but if they're not going to be able to love you for who you are, like in those things, then like there's no, it's not going to work out most likely, because sooner or later those things are going to come up, regardless of what, like you're not going to be able to suppress them because it's who you are. So when those things come up, she's, or whoever it is, he, she, whatever, they're going to see that side of you, whether or not you want them to or not. And it's going to be, I don't know, you're going to be, the relationship's going to be put to a test in that moment.
Right.
So
definitely.
One thing Tim Grover, he always says his best relationship advice is find someone who's as effed up as you are. But it's really true, like honestly.
Right.
So that'd be my my long answer to that question.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's really a short answer to that question, right? I mean, it's a lot of work, but you know what I mean. It's worth it though, right? I mean, you guys seem like you guys have a beautiful relationship, and I'm excited to finally get to like meet her in person, and ask her like why.
Why'd you choose this loser?
Like, I don't get it, but no, I'm just kidding.
I don't get it either. I'm still trying to figure that out myself.
No, I'm just kidding, brother. But yeah, like, One of the things that you were talking about, actually, kind of like, what we were talking about while we were at the, the store earlier, and you were talking a lot about like honesty and how, how important that is, and how you would rather just be honest and risk like hurting her feelings than to like only, tell half the truth. Or or lie them, or suppress them, because that's sugarcoating, exactly. I always tell people that I hate sugarcoating because I hate sugarcoating because sugarcoating is just refraining from telling the truth in its entirety. Like that's what it is. Like and like I was telling you earlier,
it's basically a partial lie, or pretty much is a lie.
Right. Sense. Well, and the thing with the truth, man, and that we were talking about earlier is that I tell people all the time, especially like during arguments where I may say something, an argument or some kind of like honest conversation where I'm maybe going to say something that they don't like. The truth can be a really beautiful thing, and it can be a really ugly thing. And I think that a lot of times people want to pick and choose, and they only want the truth when it's a compliment or something beautiful. A good example of, the truth is, telling, a significant other or someone like how you feel about them for the first time. Oh, I have feelings for you. I think that you're this. I think that you're that. That's a beautiful thing that, people experience in life and get to do in life and put themselves out there, in life and experience. But then there's also negative things sometimes that you have to be honest about. And I feel like people they only want it when it's the positive thing. Right, they don't want it when it's the negative thing.
Yeah.
And they only want to tell it when it's the positive thing. Exactly. They don't want to tell it when it's a negative thing. And,
that reminds me so much of like the stuff Tim Grover talks about. He says, friends will tell you what you want to hear, and allies will tell you what you need to hear.
Exactly.
And even if that hurts, like, because like that's that cliche saying, like the truth can hurt. Like it can really hurt, but I'd much rather have somebody tell me the truth and tell me what I need to hear than lie to me and just try to make me feel better in the moment, because it's not really serving me.
Well, it doesn't help you grow, and sometimes just a little bit of hurt feelings, or sometimes it's really heavy and it really hurts. That's just a byproduct of just telling people the truth sometimes. And as soon as you can accept that, the more honest you're gonna be with people in your life. Because it happens with significant others all the time. You have to be. I mean, this situation with me, that was a byproduct of, me just needing to be honest and just tell the truth.
Right.
And just say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I think that this is what's best, and a lot of people, you were like, you thought it's gonna happen again. It ain't gonna happen again, you know what I'm saying? But and that's, and one of the things that I'm learning through this situation, which I won't really get into, but one of the things that I'm learning, a lot about in this situation is that, people might hate you for telling the truth. That's another thing that you're gonna have to, get down with. And honestly, those people aren't your friends. In my opinion, that's just, that's just how I feel, because I feel like out of this whole situation, all the people who have always been there and who are day ones and have been day ones are still here, despite me telling the truth in its full entirety of what happened. You know what I mean? And the people who are not standing with me, and I don't care to have them stand next to me, because I think that. If you scare off that easy, and it's that easy to for you to just go, I don't like how you handled your situation, and want to leave, then that's just what it's gonna be. I don't really care to try to, mend things with those people or anything like that, because, basically, long story short, I've made a big decision recently in my life, and it's kind of turned everything upside down. There was a relationship between me and this other person. I decided to end that, and it is, it's different, and it's very unfamiliar, and it's kind of scary. I don't know what's gonna happen right now. And damn, I didn't think I was going to talk about this on the thing, but it is what it is. But anyway, I did my best to just tell the truth, in its entirety, and it definitely hurt someone, and I guess it's hurting other people, which I don't really, entirely understand, but it is what it is. And one thing that I've been telling Andrew that I learned from this situation is it's kind of, toxic. You find out how toxic, people are when they've known you to be with someone and they're way too involved in your relationship, because once that relationship splits up, they feel like they're entitled to tell you all about how they feel. Mm-hmm. When in reality, it's the only thing, if you're my friend, the only thing that you should be doing is asking me how I feel about it and how the other person that is also your friend feels about it. Why you think that it's, anything to do with you and how you feel when it wasn't your relationship is beyond me. So, if anyone who was behaving like that, watches this, you're dumb. Because it's like, I can't say it enough. I've apologized to all the people that I need to apologize to. That's one person. And I can't spend, Melissa, my good friend Melissa, who's also a ride or die, told me recently, she's like, listen, you told the truth. It hurts your partner, and that sucks. And I know you're beating yourself up about it, but you can't spend the whole rest of your life being saying you're sorry about that. You just can't. You navigated through it the best way you knew how to navigate through it.
Eventually, you gotta move on.
Right. You gotta move on. At the end of the day, it could have been a lot worse. You know what I mean? I could have bottled that in. I could have kept trying to go, and then the result would have been the same. Someone would have been hurt, and it probably would have been 10 times more devastating than it already is.
Yeah.
And I know that and I only talk about that because we're talking about relationships and and honesty, and that was an example, what you and Tam are having right now is an example of how beautiful the truth can be. My thing, unfortunately, is how detrimental, it can be, but it has to be there because, and that was one of the things, me in my own head saying, listen, I know that this is a moment where it would be really, really easy just to lie about it, bottle it up, and just try to move past it and expect something to change. But you are always telling people, hey, you have to tell the truth in its entirety, whether it's a negative or a positive. So, that's what I decided to do, and, it's definitely, been tough. It's definitely frustrating, like I said, because I feel like a lot of people have opinions, which I really don't care about. I don't,
gotta flex that IDGAF muscle.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, and obviously, there are people like you who are you've been like a brother to me for the longest time. So of course I want to talk to you about it and get your input. But the people who are just coming up and just giving that out to me about my relationship, something that fell apart for me, and telling me how they feel, that's not being a good friend. Don't tell me that you're supporting me by telling me what you wanted, because that's not
tell everyone what you said something to me before we turned this on when we were sitting over there about the difference between support and I forget what the other word for it was, but I think it's a really valuable.
Well, because we were talking about how people can get so caught up in something that's going people get very, and I understand it. People get very emotionally involved in stuff that's going on in your life when, they feel close to you or they have some kind of relationship with you. But that can be kind of toxic because what they think is support ends up just being selfish wishes that they I would have liked you to have handled it this way because this is my ideal way of handling this situation, which is fine when it's you, but when it's me, you don't get to dictate how I do that, and especially when it has nothing to do with you. Exactly. And that's the biggest thing that's been irritating me about this whole thing is I've had so many people. I had someone tell me, this morning, who will not be named, that you have your head so far up your whatever, and that you don't know how to, you're so basically saying I'm self-absorbed and saying that I don't appreciate all the people in my life who are trying to support me. Walked out the door. Didn't give me a chance to say anything, which I didn't really need to, because that was just a bunch of dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's not true.
No.
I do appreciate the people who are there to support me, but that person who was talking to me, that wasn't support. That's you trying to check me on how I handled a situation that had absolutely nothing to do with you. And I'm not saying that I'm opposed to criticism, but from day one, ever since it happened, this person is saying, well, I want to get with you because I need to tell you how I feel about it. I need to tell you what's on my chest. Why do I care about what's on your chest? What about what's on my chest?
Yeah, everything's a little piece of
right. Everyone wants to have a little piece of it, but it wasn't your relationship; it was mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that everybody thinks because of the way that I carry myself, well, Wes is fine. That pisses me off. He's fine. You don't know me, bro. Like, you don't know, like, what's going on inside, like, my head. You don't know how I feel. You don't know how it feels to not wake up in the bed that I've been sleeping in for almost a year. You don't know what that's like. But just because you might be, you know what I mean, a little bit different in how you navigate through it, and you'd be walking around and just crying from person to person, that's not me. I'm not like that. I don't carry myself that way. If I'm going to break down, I'm going to do it when I want to do it. I'm not going to put on a show to make people feel comfortable with the way that I handle a situation. That's another thing about, breakups. That's a difficult thing. And we were talking about that earlier too, in relationships, is like people watch you and are and always want to dictate, well, this is a situation, I feel like this should be your response. But it's not, but and that's also what is irritating, because it's like, it's not your situation though.
Yeah.
So if I react
into
right
to from it being you and the other person's relationship, everyone thinks it's our relationship.
It's their relationship. It's not. Just because you connect with it. You know what it's like? Someone said to me the other day, and this is a really good example. He was like, it's almost like watching a TV show and there's like a couple in the TV show and they split up and you're super pissed about it because you were so like emotionally involved with the couple, in that TV show. It'd be like, it's like when Pam and Jim are fighting in the office, and it's like, people love that couple, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, why, like, Jim, like, do something, or like, Pam, do something, you guys need to make up, blah, blah, blah. That's what it's like, but in real life, and it's okay to do that with TV. In real life, that is just really, really, really toxic. Yeah. Like, that is just not something that you could do with real people. With TV, it's less of a thing because they're not real. But like with me and my relationship, don't do that. That's not exactly. Like, that's not something that you get to do. And it's not, and that's what I think a lot of it is. It's a projection game right now. Like, everybody is like, this makes me feel something about myself or my relationship, so I'm gonna tell you that you're a piece of whatever, or that, I don't like this, or I don't like this person, or I don't like this person, because how this fell apart makes me maybe think that this might fall apart. But that's also, once again, not coming from a place that is based in reality, because that's not how that works. If me and you have a friendship, me and your friendship does not have to affect, what happens with, you and Tam, or you and, like, other people, because that's, that'd be like if, Josh was like, well, man, if Andrew can stop being friends with Wes like that and tell Wes, the truth, and, them separate, how long is it going to be before he does that? That, while that's a concern, and I can't blame him necessarily for feeling that way, that's not a reason to pop off and start behaving, horrifically, because just over something that might happen. One thing that another person was telling me today, because I've been getting a lot of advice, some that I actually wanted and some that I don't give a crap about, is that, don't invite trouble. Don't, like, you're getting mad about stuff that hasn't even happened yet. You're getting upset. Yeah. You're getting brokenhearted over stuff that, don't invite that into your life. Just take everything day by day.
It's about being present, because there's this quote or saying or something where it's like, if you're what is it? If you're worrying about something, you're putting yourself in the future. If you're what was it? There's some other part where, like, if you feel something else, then you're in the past. And so if you're ever like feeling, maybe it's guilt. I don't know if it's either guilt and like, I forgot what the one I just said was, but
Right.
If you're feeling like those types of emotions, there's no way you can be present because you're either putting yourself in the past or the future. And like, it's okay to think about these things. It's okay to have doubts and things like that here and there. It's normal,
Right.
but you can't dwell on those things.
No, absolutely. Yeah, man. I think that like, you know, and I think that like, you know, how do we even get started on this? Well, we were talking about the truth, and I think that that's like one of the things that I'm learning about it is, you know, you even if people are gonna hate you for it, you have to tell it, because lying about it really isn't better. Because that's one of the things that I really like ask myself. It's like, maybe I should have just lied about it and just tried to like fake it till I made it, right? But does that sound like that's something that's gonna be less toxic? Does that sound like something that's gonna work out in the long run? Does that ever really work out for anybody?
Exactly.
You know,
and that's not. Oh, okay. Okay, we got 10% battery.
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up. But and that's not even your character, any. That's not like really who you are and like your identity. You're not
Right.
like that. That's not like I don't know you as someone who does that. So that wouldn't even like align with who you are.
Right. And and as much as people are talking about me compromising things, I wasn't going to compromise that just because it was going to maybe hurt someone's feelings. And that's the thing too, is like, I don't take pride in the fact that like someone's feelings are hurt. It hurts. I can't stand that someone that I love and still love is hurting over, you know, me being honest about it. I can't stand that. But also at the end of the day, it's like I respect them enough to not waste their time and make them, you know, think that I'm gonna be in something that, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think that's been an important lesson recently that I thought was, you know, definitely worth discussing, since we were kind of talking about like relationships and like, you know, communication and making that work, you know, and I think that if like, you know, whoever watches this, if there's like a, you know, a takeaway from it, it's just like, don't let people be able to recognize who's being an ally and who is being selfish, because there are gonna be people in your life that really were only ever in it for selfish reasons, and you'll find out really quickly, especially when something big happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some people's true colors come out is during those adversity moments, even if it has nothing to do with them. Like those adversity moments with other people that they're even invested in, their true colors will come out even in those moments sometimes too.
Well, and think and when you're looking at your group of friends, right? Think about who you're surrounding yourself with. Do you see if something pops off? Do they have your back? Are they gonna stand by you? Are they gonna support you? Are they gonna, you know, stand up for you? If you know what I mean, or you know, like you stand up for them, like, you know what I mean? Do you feel like you're giving them 100% and they're giving you 6%? Like, what's like?
Yeah, things need to be reciprocated.
Yeah, things need to be. It's a two-way street, and you also need to be honest with yourself about the homies, because if you can already answer those questions, and that question is answer those, you know, that question, and your answer is no, I don't think, and you know deep down, I don't think this person really has my back, and why are you waiting for something bad to happen to figure that out?
Exactly.
Because that's just, you know, loyalty is like the number one thing for me for pretty much everything. Loyalty is such an important thing.
I can see that for sure. Like with you, like from knowing you, I can feel that like definitely aligns with who I know you to be. Is like you're super loyal yourself. I know with your friends and people that you care about. I've seen that for years, and that makes sense that would be like something that you really value in somebody else as well. But yeah, we're gonna wrap things up because my camera's about to die. But thanks for everyone who was stuck around for the whole thing and watched, or even if you didn't finish the whole episode and just watch some of it. Hope you guys got some value, some good laughs, and learned some stuff, whether you want to be a personal trainer in the future and got some got a little insight on what that was like, or about your relationships, or just here for the funny stories and laughs and stuff. Hope you got some type of value from it. I know I really enjoyed having this conversation, and
sure.
we have these conversations all the time, but we're like, you know what? We should, like, we were talking, like, we should just make a podcast out of this, or like a little episode, and share, because, you know, we talk about some deep stuff that I think a lot of people can relate to. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, show notifications, and hope you got stay on the lookout for the vlogs and stuff. Those are going to be coming still every Sunday. I don't know when I'm going to post this. It'll probably just come out whenever. I don't know. This may even be like the vlog for one of the weeks, or this may be something like start something new. I don't know. We'll see. It's the first episode, but thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys hopefully next time. So see you later. Thanks for hopping on doing this new Wes.
No problem, sir.
It's like, I don't even know, what is it? 3:37 a.m. So yeah,
y'all all sleeping.
Late night thoughts, baby. The night changes people and gets you in that creative zone where you have the best conversations, and you get creative. But alrighty, I'm rambling now. Peace.